First action from the Osaka shooting range at the Paralympic Games. The mixed 50-metre rifle prone SH1 final is what rounds off our Tokyo 2020 programme. 48 athletes were aiming to make it to the final now. 8 have their eye on the podium.
Very much about precision and performance. 8 of the very best vying for just 3 medals.
And it is very best indeed. These 8, only 2 have not been in a final already here at the Osaka shooting range.
Yeah, for the other 2, well, it's been a long wait, and they'll hope today that it all comes together, because if there is ever a sport where we are talking about, well, a game of inches, we are talking a game of millimetres. We are talking 0.01% in performance. Remarkable hand-eye for these athletes that have an impairment.
Yeah, 50 metres away, just a couple of millimetres, the 10.9, the bullseye, so to speak. And this is scheduled. Just the one event left for us to enjoy here at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. And let's hope it's another sparkling final. The SH2 event was, we had shoot-offs for places. It was a very tight affair. And just to let you know, at the moment, you're not missing anything. These are the sighting shots. The athletes coming from the qualification hall into the final hall, just getting themselves used to the different lighting, the different way that this probably will play out. And the way it works is we have 2 series of 5 shots, and then we go to single shots. And after the second single shot, we lose our first athlete. Every 2 shots after that, we lose another athlete until we get to the last 2 shots that decide gold and silver.
How important those first 2 rounds of 5 shots in terms of setting things up, and I guess maybe sending a psychological message to your opponents?
Well, for sure, you've got to start strong. There's no point having a weak first series and then trying to rescue it from there. You've got to be in a good position when it comes to the single shots. This is Irina Shetnik, her first Paralympic Games, already a couple of medals to her name. She has been absolutely outstanding, and just 21 years of age. But we'll introduce you fully to the athletes very shortly. Their full concentration, of course, on the sighting shots. Keep an eye on that recoil. If it goes straight back, it's a decent shot. A little wobble side to side, then that'll worry the athletes, and they can see how they're doing on the monitor. A target there showing where they need to adjust. They do have sights. They're not anything other than optical sights, not telescopic sights, and very, very strictly regulated. There are individual aspects, you can individualize it, but the most important thing is level playing field. And you will see some of these athletes, this is the prone competition, will be lying down, but those in chairs or using a shooting chair, they will use a table which gives them, it replicates the stability. It's all about, you know, the prone position. Of all the positions these athletes will shoot in, this is the most stable. So the idea is you can get both your elbows down, lean down, negate the effects of gravity, and for those lying down or those in a chair, it should be a level playing field.
And I'd imagine too, these rifles, well, customised to a degree based on their level of impairment, but high-tech pieces of machinery.
They are, and they're at this level, they're not the cheapest, but if you fancy giving it a go, just pop down to your local club. I'm sure you can borrow and see how you go from there. Yeah. Well, this is how they line up. It's a range of ages as well, from 21 through into the 40s, 47 for Saavedra Ronaldo, the Spaniard, and the 8 lining up are about to be introduced to those in the Osaka shooting range and to us as well. 5 more minutes before the actual action gets underway. 6 of these athletes have been in the finals hall before. couple making their first appearance, but already experienced athletes. And we start on position A. This is Cédric Fèvre, the Frenchman, known as the Emperor. First time in the hall here, but a gold in the air rifle prone competition in London, so already a Paralympic gold medalist. Next to him, somebody who has been in already a couple of finals. Silver in the 3 position competition, gold in the 10-metre air rifle prone. Natasha Hildrop looking for another medal here, and with a very impressive qualifying world record as she made it through to the final. Next to her, this is Juan Antonio Saavedra Ronaldo, 4th, just outside the medals in the air rifle prone competition. Has a silver from London in this actual competition, this event, so he'll be hoping to replicate at least that here. 4th final for Veronika Vadavakova, yet to make it onto the podium. 2 6th places and a 4th, but she has 3 Paralympic golds already to a very impressive CV. Now we saw Abdullah Ariani of the United Arab Emirates take gold in the 3 position competition. Here's his compatriot, Saif Al-Nuaimi, 43 years of age. His first final in the Paralympic Games. Well, this certainly isn't a man who's not been in the finals. Another man for his 4th final, gold in the 10-metre air rifle standing, just outside the medals in 3 position and air rifle prone. Next to him, position G, Irina Shetnik, just outside the medals in the 3 position, but 2 bronze medals for her already in the air rifle prone and standing competition. Just 21 years of age. First Paralympic Games, astonishing really. And then right on that right-hand side from Sweden, Anna Norman, just outside the medals again in that 3 position competition. She was 5th there, but she is always there or thereabouts in the mix.
Yeah, I think 21 years of age, this is a case of experience, isn't it, versus youthful exuberance. Sometimes coming in at such a young age, you bring clarity. You don't necessarily have the big reputation.
Well, she's gained one, I think, already a world champion in 2019, Shetnik, and has really been impressive. She has led and then sort of faded away to bronze, but we'll see what happens here.
Well, it's just another beautiful facility, one of so many that Japan have put on in terms of presenting the Paralympic Games. And so all the talk now, all the warm-up, it now comes down to what happens over the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Yes, a long stretch of qualification, and then the sprint. It does go quite quickly, this final. You've got to make sure you start well, get yourself calm. Fèvre, the Frenchman, claims his heart rate is only 50 to 55 beats per minute. If that is true, that is going to help as well, because you do, a lot of athletes say, oh, you know, I shoot between heartbeats, whether that's true or not, being calm and collected. And a lot of these athletes have said, actually, my personality kind of helps. Being introverted helps. Being somebody who likes to be in my own little bubble helps.
No, and I think every athlete will be different in terms of how they get their, what I call their nervous system up, getting into that rhythm. And this is a sport very much about rhythm, about feel at times.
And you'll see some of these athletes shooting quickly. They've got a long stretch to get these 5 shots away. Some will start quickly, some will take their time. This is the woman who qualified with a world record, beat her own world record by 1.1 points, and will be looking to be in the middle 10s, the high 10s, 10.5 or above. There we go, Saavedra Ronaldo with a 10.7. Remember, 10.9 in this decimal scoring system is the highest you can get. And so you want to start well and set yourself a challenge. 9.2 from Shetnik, that's not a great start from the Ukrainian. We were talking her up, the youngster. There is the Ukrainian, the woman from Odessa. 10-5, a much better shot, that first one. It's not a great way to start.
Yeah, no, she's got a French literature degree, so she's a balanced athlete away from her shooting.
Yeah, 5 languages, including Latin.
Yeah, and how often do you see the great athletes also having that incredible balance in the background?
We are getting through these first 5 shots pretty quickly. Fevre, the Frenchman, this is the man who claims to have that slow heart rate. Trains 20 hours a week. When he's not doing this, he's cycling with his dad. It's not a bad grouping in the high 10s, and he is top of the pile at the moment. 10-4 just to round off for him. Al Noaimi of the United Arab Emirates from Al Ain. It's got its own range there, hosts World Championships and World Cups, so already has good facilities nearby.
Yeah, 25th in this event back in 2016, so already a wonderful improvement, knowing that he is in that top 8, no matter what happens.
Yeah, his first ever Paralympic Games final, so a big moment for him, and he's rising to the challenge in 3rd place at the moment. Started with a 9-7, but then a 10-3, a 10-7, 10-6, 10-4. Excellent work from him.
And now just that clock ticking down to get those first 5 shots out. So we'll just add a little bit of pressure to those shooters who tend to be a little bit more composed versus those that like to fire up much higher volley of 5 shots.
That's how it looks. Shetnik with a bit of work to do, and Anna Norman, the Swedish athlete, on the right-hand side of our picture. Again, starting slowly and then improving, but Cedric Fevre, well, already a gold medalist in London, said he's been shooting competitively since he was 8. Since 11. At 8, the parents signed him up to a para sports club so he could learn to swim, but they guided him towards the shooting.
Well, that might be the reason he's got the low heart rate. Aerobically very, very strong, this man here. 3rd back in 2016, so he knows what it's like to win a bronze medal. And you never rule the Chinese out when it comes to sports like shooting. Yeah. Technically always very, very good.
Very good scouting system. He's got a gold already to his name, Dong Chao. And he's in 2nd place at the moment, so looking good. Only, 0.3 behind Fevre. So these are our 2 at the top at the moment. Underway in the 2nd series of 5 shots.
Yeah, interesting to see Fevre here. He's a little bit more composed. He appears to be somebody who likes to just slow things down. And like in all sport, the great ones just have that ability to slow time down.
But he's dropped down to 3rd with that 9.6 early on, and Al Noaimi a 9.8. You need to be, with this amount of stability, whether you're in the prone position or in the chair using the table, you do really want to be in that high 10s, like the Spaniard here is the 47-year-old.
Yeah, he enjoys cooking when he's not shooting, going to concerts. He began shooting way back in 1991, so he certainly has plenty of time in the sport.
Yeah, and he's represented Spain at para swimming. Went to the World Championships.
See, you swim and you become a good shooter. There's a nice crossover here. There's a common theme running through this. How often do you see athletes with that crossover, though, in sport?
Well, you're picking up a pattern here. Shetnik with a decent 2nd series at the moment. Where is she? Still bottom of the pile, but asking the question of Anna Norman. The Spaniard is top of the pile, and the 10-1 is the worst he's done in this 10-6 or 10-7, finishing off with a 10-4. Yeah. And he is nicely placed for the individual shots.
You do wonder, though, those athletes that have been to a Paralympics before versus those on debut. It is an event that's so much greater than the sum of its parts. Go to World Championships, but you don't get opening ceremonies, you don't get games villages, the media scrutiny, and that can have a big impact on a young athlete.
Well, Dong is very experienced, but 2 9.8s has dropped him down into 4th place. So it's an interesting mix here. Anna Norman has come shooting up the rankings. She was next to last, but 2 10.8s And then a 10-4 has helped her into medal position. So that's an excellent bit of work from the 37-year-old from Halmstad.
Yeah, good comeback. She broke her foot back in 2020 as well, and that would have, I'd imagine, impacted her build-up and just added to the frustration at times.
Yeah, certainly didn't help. Actually, an ankle injury she has as an impairment. Did that whilst training with the Swedish Army. She's still part of the Swedish Army. 5 operations, couldn't quite fix it. You can see it on the right-hand side of our picture. She shot before she became a para-athlete, and she decided that she wouldn't use a shooting stool. She would prefer to stay as she was before. And that was well, she's zoomed up the rankings. Hiltrop, who is our world record qualifier, is down in equal 5th. So 1 shot now, and then we will see where we are, and we will prepare ourselves for our first elimination. So, and well, that wasn't great, was it, from the Spaniard?
Well, the pressure now starts to really turn up on these athletes. You wouldn't know it, though, looking at them. You would not want to sit opposite them at a poker table, would you? Because they just have that poker face. They show nothing, they give nothing.
Well, 9.6 from Dong Chao has dropped him down into the danger zone within a point of Shetnik. And Shetnik, who, well, she shot solidly, but not solidly enough. In the 10s, but not the high 10s. At the top, it's still the Spaniard, Saavedra Ronaldo. And Al Noemi is certainly shooting well. He's just 0.2 behind. But we will, as we look at this man here, he's the man at the top, but we will keep an eye at this battle here. Cedric Fevre, who started well, is down in 6th, and it's not inconceivable that he might go out as well. A couple of 9s in that second series of 5 has not helped him. Dong with a 10. Shetnik, oh, it's a 9.8. It's not going to be enough. I'll just clarify what we have from Fevre as well. But, well, what a shame for Shetnik. It is the Ukrainian athlete. A 9.8 was never going to rescue you.
But what a future she has, though, and she'll be better for this experience. She's got 3 years to think about it, 3 years to make those adjustments. 3 more years of training, but really, really, boy, she's done a nation proud with that 8th place finish just to get through to the final. When you go back and you look at the qualification, you look at the depth, you look at the number of nations that were taking part.
Absolutely, and, you know, 4 finals out of 4 as well. Excellent work from Irina Shetnik. She goes back to Odessa in the Ukraine with 2 bronze medals in her hand luggage. And I know a lot of experience to take back with her as well. 8th place then for Irina Shetnik of Ukraine.
And a Norman there. How good has she been at the moment?
Well, from second from bottom for quite a lot of the opening stages. A 10 and a 10.8 has seen her top by 0.1 from Veronika Vadavikova of Slovakia. What a turnaround.
Yeah, no, it's a great turn. It's just great that it's mixed, isn't it? That the women here are leading this competition, putting the real pressure on the men. And a Norman, 37 years of age. And took up parish sport in 2018.
And the 3-position competition is really her forte, so to get a medal here would be a real bonus as well. It would be her first medal at the Paralympic Games. She has a world championship to her name.
I like your philosophy. When I lower my air defenders, I do not want to be disturbed. Then I'm in my world. Shooting is a sport for the head. There you go. So that gives you her the way she sees things.
Very tight between Norman and Vadavikova. Just a 0.1 swing towards the Slovakian. And, well, at the bottom, Dong is a little bit adrift of Al Noemi. And Al Noemi, well, that 9.3 in the previous shot has dropped him down into the danger zone. One more shot, of course, and we will lose another athlete to 7th place. At the moment, it looks like Dong Chao, the very experienced Chinese athlete. Gold in the 10-metre air rifle standing here. 2 golds in Rio and London in 10-metre air rifle standing, and 3 bronzes as well in 3 position. This is not his favoured discipline. We'll see. The clock running down. A 10-3 is decent, but Al Noaimi just covers him off.
Yeah, frustrating sport. Really, it's a sport of sort of almost what they would classify as unforced errors, but such small percentages. And there, boy, that's somewhat of a surprise that the great man, Dong Xiao, exits this competition. As alluded to, not his favourite event, but still a man with so much experience. I think probably would have thought he might have just gone a little bit further, but it's not his day.
Little bow from the man from the Sichuan Province Club. A man who's already played table tennis at elite level. 4 finals for him. A gold in the 10-metre air rifle standing. Not to be in this competition. He takes 7th place. Well, 6 left. You wouldn't like to call it at the moment. It is still pretty tight at the top. Half a point between Saavedra Ronaldo, who's leapfrogged Anna Norman with a 10.6.
Boy, just the poise being shown by these athletes, just incredible. The balance. And too, when you think about the level of impairment, simply remarkable.
Concentration on these athletes' faces as they prepare. Well, that 10-2 is certainly beatable, and Norman with a 10-1. So, in fact, unable to make ground on the Spaniard. So, very, very tight again. 10-1 from Al Noaimi leaves him in a spot of bother. He's 0.6 now adrift of Natasha Hiltrop. Hiltrop again also with a 10-1. And Anna Norman, again, it wasn't terrible, the 10-1, down into equal third, because Fevre, who was in danger, hits a 10-7, and all of a sudden he's looking at a medal.
Yeah, amazing how fortunes can turn.
One more shot and we will determine 6th place. These are the 2 in the bottom places at the moment. 10-5 from Hiltrop. That will do it. Al Noaimi will not be able to overhaul her. He might be hoping somebody else might have an off shot. Let's see what he does. A 10-4. And, well, it's a decent shot to finish with, but it's not going to be enough.
No, 43 years of age, but as we alluded to earlier, coming in, this is certainly making the final at the Paralympics. If you were to plot that form on a graph, it's going upwards. 3 more years to Paris. And the man from the United Arab Emirates, well, I think he can go away with a lot to be happy about. Very good performance indeed.
Said shooting was always a hobby, and then happily it became a passion and a para sport for him. So then, 3 gone, 5 left. We're getting towards the crunch time. Tight between Hiltrop and Norman.
Yeah, interesting to see Cedric Fevre coming back up again. He's a very fancied Frenchman. He's been a little bit of yo-yo, but he's finding that form at the key time.
Well, it's been interesting, isn't it? The 3 out of the last 4 shots from him have been 10.7s, and the other one a 9.9. So the last 2 10.7s, that's why he's come up into equal 2nd place with Vadafikova. But Norman only 0.3 away from the medal places.
Well, Cedric Fevre, he's an accountant, so he's a number cruncher, and he'll be doing the maths in his head.
Yeah, he'll be saying to himself, 10-9 all the way, and I'll be fine.
So 10-9 is the maximum score.
10-3, not outstanding to be fair, but Fevre with a 9.9. And the Spaniards in the crowd like what they see there.
Well, he's just so composed, isn't he, between shots? He's got his little routine that he works through.
Well, and also a 10.9 from Anna Norman. We're talking about the 10.9, and she's up into 3rd place. And look at that, a tie at the top at the moment. Vadafikova with a 10.7. So a swing of 0.4 in her favour against the Spaniard. And it is very tight, both at the bottom and at the top.
Well, one more shot to see who drops out, and we'll be down to 4.
Well, which Cedric Fevre will arrive in this shot now? 9-9 from him. He's 0.6 ahead of Hiltrop, Natasha Hiltrop, who has a gold already to her name, and a silver in these games.
Well, that's good from Hiltrop. Puts a bit of pressure back on the Frenchman.
Oh, a 9-8. What has happened to Fevre at the moment? And, well, it's very, very tight. It's 0.1. Hiltrop loses out. Well, she did her best. I think a more solid shot in the middle tens would have done it, but it's not to be for the woman who set a world record in qualification, Natasha Hiltrop, with a gold and a silver already at these games.
Yeah, and go with that silver medal she won in Sydney back in 2019, just 29 years of age out of Germany, so relatively young. Another one who I'm sure we'll see back in 3 years' time.
Look how tight it is between 4th and 1st. This can all change in the next 2 shots.
Well, amazing, isn't it, that Veronika Vadisakova, we haven't really talked about, but suddenly she finds herself at the top with that score of 186.2, 10.7, 2.5. You talk about coming into your own at the right time. She's certainly doing that.
Yeah, consistency is the key.
Yeah, holding your nerve too as the pressure begins to build, because we are getting into the medals.
And a 9.8 last time out from the Spaniard. That's what's dropped him into 2nd place. So 4 athletes left. Somebody's going to miss out.
Yeah, well, Ronaldo there at 9.7, so he's now starting to crumble a little bit under the pressure after being the athlete who's been sort of asking questions of the rest of these shooters. But it is still Veronika Vadisakova who is leading. It's a good lead too at the moment.
Fevre then not far behind Saavedra Ronaldo, who has dropped down quite a lot, hasn't he?
But the pressure still goes back on the Frenchman for the 2nd time. And sometimes when you're so successful, you often don't find yourself in this position, and it's how you deal with that mentally.
Clapping starts, pressure starting to tell. These are the 2 at the bottom, both with very average shots. 10-3, well, it's beatable, and a 10-4. It's not going to be enough. Half a point between them, and Fevre, who has yo-yoed from sort of looking at gold to looking at elimination, isn't going to make it onto the podium. What a shame for the Emperor.
Yeah, and oh God, I love the nickname. I'll give him a gold medal for the nickname alone. The Emperor, well, he's going to exit it. But boy, what a wonderful, wonderful marksman he is. He is part of the reason why so many athletes train as hard as they do, because he set such a high standard traditionally, historically. And so now we are down to our medalists who will win that gold, silver and bronze.
So 2 more shots to work out who takes the bronze. Everyone guaranteed a medal now. Saavedra Ronaldo, Vadisakova and Anna Norman, who started struggling in those first series but has come right through the ranks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too now who genuinely believes that, hey, I can win the gold. Which one of these 3 has suddenly exceeded their expectations, and how does that then play with their psyche? Is a medal good enough, or is it now it's all about gold? That's what I came for. 2nd to me is failure, and there'll be the scenarios running through each of these athletes' heads.
It's interesting, isn't it, that well, 2 of these 3 athletes have medals before, but all 3 of these is the first medals they're going to pick up in the Tokyo Games. Vadisakova 4th, 6th and 6th. So
well, it's
she's
just
been knocking on the door.
Yeah, well, it's amazing though, isn't it, across so many sports at these Paralympics. It's those athletes that have been knocking on the door and have had their breakthrough performances on the biggest stage of them all.
These are the two looking to be on top of the podium at the moment. Vadavikova, that point difference is comfortable. We have seen how it can change. And a 10-2, Norman with a chance if she can nail a decent 10 here. Taking her time, and a 10-7.
Oh, that's wonderful from Norman. Asked some serious questions for Vadavikova, but she comes back and she answers them. That is simply remarkable under the pressure that she was under.
And Saavedra Ronaldo is 0.7 behind. It's tight. It could all change, you know, on this next shot.
Absolutely. Now,
well, these athletes have to listen to the announcer telling everybody what's going on. Vadavikova with a 10-2. We'll be hoping to make that a little bit of a better shot this second time around.
she says that her philosophy, the times when I devoted myself to this activity as a leisure time, are long gone. If one wants to make progress, they must constantly educate themselves and fully dedicate themselves, and she's clearly done that.
10-3. It's good, but probably not good enough. Let's see what Norman can do. Can she keep herself in this competition and, in fact, look at the gold? The Spaniard just has to wait. 10-6 will do the job.
Wow, 10-6. Look at the consistency there from Norman.
Well, he was 4th in the air rifle prone. He's gone one better here. The Spaniard from Vigo has the bronze medal. Just say, when he, on the notes that he's provided, that he's very proud. He says, I'm a consultant, an energy consultant. Not all athletes are in the police or army.
No, and look, it's hard to get a gauge on that, but I think when it's all said and done, he'll be pretty happy that they're going to put a Paralympic bronze medal around his neck, and he'll forever have that. And it's funny, it is down to two outstanding women now between Slovakia and Sweden, and there is not much in it. You talk about pressure, well, this is a metaphor for it right now.
Hold on to your hats. First medal of these games for these athletes. It's the first Paralympic medal for Anna Norman. Vadavikova with 3 Paralympic golds already to her name. Can she take another one here? 2 more shots then, and we will know.
Vadavikova, 38 years of age, Norman 37, so both at considerable time.
Oh, that's great. That is so good. Not much you can do with that. If you're Norman, just try and stay with her. What a 10-7 to pull out. And there you go. That's all you can really ask for. Take it to the last shot. Take it to the last shot and see what happens.
Wow, a crowd loving that. You want it on a knife edge, well, we've got it. So 0.5 between the two athletes. Remarkable.
25 minutes or so this final has been underway, and it comes down to the last 30 seconds.
So, will it be Slovakia? Will it be Sweden? All you want in sport is theatre. All you want some drama, and both these athletes providing plenty of it.
And they look as calm as cucumbers, don't they? This then for the gold and the silver. Let's keep our fingers crossed for these two. They will be blocking everything else out. Just the target, 50 metres away, 10-4. It's going to have to be spectacular from Norman. It's not enough. And it is the Slovakian. There's a smile. Well, a smile from both these athletes because they've done exceptionally well. Vadavikova takes the gold medal here in her 4th final, eventually on the podium. Not only that, the top step.
Well, what I loved about her was the momentum that she built throughout this competition in those early rounds. We didn't talk too much about her, but when it really started to count, the pressure began on. She made those subtle adjustments and she found that consistency, and that is a wonderful moment for Slovakia, the 38-year-old. But two, you don't have a contest without great competition, and Anna Norman of Sweden can be incredibly proud of her performance as well, because she was a key protagonist in another historic chapter in the history of shooting at the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, she's been involved, actually was involved in London, but in a different way. She was part of the Swedish Army crew that came and worked on the air defence section that helped protect the Games. But here she is at the centre of the action, and a silver for her first Paralympic Games medal to add to a World Championship she already has.
Yeah, her ambition simply to win a medal at 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Well, she's done that, and that's all you can ask for. So there you go, your three medalists in one of the final events on the final day of Tokyo 2020.
There's your bronze medalist, Juan Antonio Saavedra Ronaldo. A silver in London in this competition, and he's followed it up with a bronze here next to him. And on the next step of the podium, Anna Norman of Sweden, the 37-year-old from Halmstad, takes the silver, much to the delight of those in the stands. But, well, she was outstanding, wasn't she? This is Veronika Vadevikova from Slovakia, her fourth final, her first medal here. She has ones from previous editions of the Paralympic Games, but it is gold for Veronika Vadevikova.
Tell you, a wonderful rivalry building between these three, plus those other five athletes, all of those that went through qualification. Look out Paris 3 years from now. Look out future World Championships. And behind every athlete is a group of people, coaches, family, friends that, you know, go through all the same emotions as sometimes the athletes.
Yeah, let's not forget the physios, always trying to get those muscles back into alignment after qualification and finals. You see the physios chairs dotted around the auditorium. Those are three finalists. The victory ceremony is coming up. Confirmation then of how it has finished. A Paralympic record for Veronika Vadevikova as she takes the gold, the bronze for Anna Norman, and the Spaniard Juan Antonio Saavedra Ronaldo with the bronze medal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the mixed 50-meter rifle prone SH1.
皆様、ただいまより混合 50m ライフル複写 SH1 の表彰式を行います。
The medal ceremony for the mixed 50-meter rifle prone SH1 competition. And what a competition it was. We're left wondering who would take the gold right to the last shot. And, well, Sweden on the podium. And it's great to see some of Tokyo school kids here to watch the action as well. Good atmosphere here at the Osaka shooting range. These are our presenters of the medals. Yuko Arakida will be giving out the medals. And next to her, of course, the gifts also being given out throughout the games.
Mrs. Wanda Jewell, Vice Chairperson of the World Shooting Parasport Technical Committee.
Wanda Jewell has that task, part of the World Shooting Parasport community.
Bronze medalist representing Spain.
銅メダリストはスペイン。
Juan Antonio Saavedra.
What a moment for the 47-year-old. His 5th Paralympic Games, his first in Sydney, only missed Beijing. And a bronze medal for him after that silver in London in the same competition.
Yeah, remarkable. He's represented his country in the sport of swimming, won medals at World Championships in New Zealand back in 1998. And for the 47-year-old, well, he continues to push the boundaries of sports science. Age is no barrier. Wonderful moment.
Bronze then for Juan Antonio Saavedra Ronaldo of Spain.
Silver medalist representing Sweden.
銀メダリストはスウェーデン。
What a moment for Anna Norman, the Swedish athlete, her first Paralympic Games medal, and it's a silver.
Yeah, and it was an injury that she incurred while in the armed forces on her ankle. And she had one simple goal: to make it to the Paralympics and to win a medal. And she's achieved that.
Yeah, 5th in the 3-position competition. She came back even stronger and wins the silver here. Anna Norman of Sweden on the podium.
Gold medalist and Paralympic champion representing Slovakia.
金メダリストおよびパラリンピックチャンピオンはスロバキア。
Well, Veronika Vadavikova took her 4 finals here in Tokyo to make it onto the podium, and when she did, she took the top step. A gold for her to add to her 3 para golds she already has in the locker.
Yeah, she said that winning gold at the 2008 Paralympic Games in Beijing raised her profile so much that it changed her life. And she'd began shooting at the age of 15. She discovered the sport while skiing, and she couldn't get out. And so through boredom, she picked up an infrared rifle, and she found out that she was quite good at it. And now the rest is history. Great moment for Slovakia.
Yeah, the gold for Veronika Vadavikova.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Slovakia.
皆様、スロバキア国歌の演奏です。
What a moment as our shooting programme draws to an end here at the Paralympic Games. Slovakia with the last medal, Veronika Vadavikova. Well, she has Paralympic goals before, but this will be equally precious. Confirmation of how it's finished. Juan Antonio Saavedra Ronaldo with the bronze, Anna Norman of Sweden with the silver, and it's gold for Veronika Vadavikova of Slovakia. And isn't it great that some of the school children in Tokyo have been able to come and experience this, socially distanced, of course. That's a bit of extra atmosphere.
Well, they've been wonderful hosts, Japan, and we do encourage people post-COVID, if you are thinking of holiday, come to this wonderful country. Such hospitable people. They've presented the events beautifully, and on the occasions where they've allowed school children to come in, those kids have been wonderful ambassadors for their country. And it certainly makes this moment even more special for these remarkable three athletes. Life-changing moments for all of them.
It has been a marvellous week and a bit of competition here at the Osaka shooting range. We thank everybody who's made it possible. Not least the athletes who have been spectacular. Vadavikova, 2 golds in Rio, 1 in Beijing, and now a 3rd location for a gold. It's not a bad CV, is it? Alongside 5 World Championship golds, the European Championship in 2018. She has the set now, and well, at 38 years of age, why wouldn't we see her again challenging in Paris?
Thank you for your support and participation on Tokyo 2020. That concludes today's competition and all of the shooting events at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Thank you for being part of history.